is going on, you black and white motherfuckers? You know, me come to the conclusion that Jake Paul is a bad boy. You have to respect these big white motherfuckers hustle, you know. Think about it. How many man them there say they want to see Jake Paul in a real fight? How many man say Jake Paul is a pussy? Yeah, what him say? Him say, we're gonna face Saul Canelo Alvarez. Think about it. It's hard to give the man respect, because a lot of us boxing fans are proud, you know. We are too proud to acknowledge when sometimes we blatantly hating on a motherfucker, you know. Now, of course, I concede Jake Paul is extremely fucking irritating, you know. But think about it. What is the main thing everybody says about Jake Paul? We want him to fight a real fighter. And for the fact of him even trying to get this Canelo deal off the ground, may I for sure and respect, you know. Now, I have always said I respect Jake Paul's hustle, you know. And I respect him as a fighter. I tell you why. When you think about the opposition that Jake Paul has faced, for a fighter who's had as many fights as him have, how many fights he's had? Like 11 or 12 fights. The level of opposition is comparatively the same as most up-and-coming fighters. The only discrepancy is that they're not actually boxers, which is kind of a problem, I will concede. But you understand what I am saying. Really, if you take away the fact that it's Jake Paul, the opponents he's faced, Anderson De Silva, Nate Diaz, what's his name, you know, the one who face plant, land on his face, you know, the brother, Tyrone Terrell, the UFC guy, you know. Yes, they might not be professional boxers, but from the perspective of a grown man in front of you who's experienced in fighting, who is a striker, you have to balance that up against a fighter who's not Jake Paul facing a fighter who has 2 wins and 280 losses, you know. Yes, they are different. Yes, they're not boxers. But a lot of the time, I think motherfuckers are just using another boxer excuse to hate on Jake Paul, when really he's building his career, he's learning slowly. Yes, the first time he faced a boxer, what happened? Him lose, right? So he faces 2 other boxers. Yeah, we can't even remember the names, you know. But they're really low-level boxers who him blast out. So what is the solution to this? If he faces a average boxer and beats him, people will say he's not faced somebody who's good enough. So what does he do? He skips the line and faces arguably one of the best fighters right now, Saul Canelo Alvarez. The contract was signed! The whole thing was sorted, but Canelo Alvarez stepped away because Turkey and a sheiks stroke his cheeks, you know, and offer him a better deal, so I'm walk away. But the point, all of that's for another thing, you know. Al Ayman's involved in all of that, and of course there are other factors to take into account when it comes to that. But I'm more interested in the fact that at least Jake Paul went for tried to make a fight against a fighter, right? Of course he's gonna lose, okay? This is Canelo. You know, there's unless Canelo has an injury in the ring or drastically gets old overnight to a worrying degree, Jake Paul is going to get his bomber ass fucking fish fried, you know. Of course. But he's still signed to fight him when you think about it. And that requires bollocks. And most of all, it requires respect. Jake Paul, in another crazy world, could even win, you know. How? if Canelo has an injury, if he's old overnight, if he doesn't train. Look at Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. Yes, Canelo and Fury have different skill sets, but they're still both highly talented elite boxers, right? And if they're not on their game, you can see what can happen. Jake Paul, at the very least, is a big motherfucker who can punch, right? He may not have the skills anywhere close to Canelo, but there's always that small chance. But taking that aside, it's more the fact that him said, you know what, I'm going to do it. And he actually signed it. And for that, I think you have to give this white motherfucker respect, you know. But you don't want to deep down because you are a hater. And that is a horrible thing to have inside. Now, Canelo has got the 4-fight deal. Hopefully he'll fight Crawford. And Jake Paul will go on and fight, I don't know, maybe his brother or his mother or something. I don't know, you know. But I still will stand on it. And not other, not other pussy boxing channels will say this. I respect Jake Paul for having the balls to at least attempt to fight Canelo. Whether you like him or not, this motherfucker has balls. He can fight. He's not the greatest boxer. He's not the worst boxer I've seen, you know. He can fight. It's just his persona and his attitude that people find hard to take. And that is clouding your judgment. I think Jake Paul is good for boxing when he's going for fights like this, you know. And that is the final word in this situation. Why? Because I'm a catchy, damn, the baddest YouTube boxing man, you know.